Hello my dear subscribers and dear guests of my channel, welcome. My name is Paulina and here on my channel it is all about fragrances. In today's video I'm going to be talking about the new perfume rotation. It is already middle of July, so I wanted to have a little bit different direction in my next perfume rotation because my mood is changing, the weather, the climate is different, so I wanted to rotate my perfumes. And the ones of you who regularly watches my videos, you know that I regularly change my perfume rotation, so in this video I'm going to talk about 7 other perfumes that I'm going to use in the next weeks. Let's start from the fragrance that I was already talking about in my previous video. This is Lacoste L12.12 Rose for Her. That was released from the last year. What is this fragrance about? The top notes are green mandarin and mint. The middle notes are rose and frangipani, and the base musk and ambretta. What is this fragrance about? It is such a young, playful and girly combination of predominant rose and a very refreshing, cooling twist of mint. Outside in Germany where I live is plus 38 degrees Celsius. It is so hot, it is warm. I don't like this heat at all. So this is going to be my scented air conditioner. Because of this minty twist, it cools you down, it refreshes you. Of course the note of rose is predominant, but it is a sour, fruity, floral, sour touch. Sour rose, cooling, refreshing, girly, young, very nice twist of mint. It is a very nice office-friendly daily perfume, day perfume. So probably in the next video I'm going to be talking about fragrances that are appropriate for the office. So the next fragrance that I'm going to use in my perfume rotation is Osmanthus by L'Occitane. I was already talking about this fragrance some months ago. So what is this fragrance about? That was also quite new release from the last year. The top notes are apricot, pear and bitter orange. The middle notes Chinese Osmanthus, woody notes, carrot seeds, and the base cedar and sandalwood. Sweet, apricot-y, fruity, floral twist, very elegant with a special aristocratic touch. I think Osmanthus in perfumery gives to the fragrances a special noble aristocratic touch. In the dry down you can detect some suede note, although suede is not listed here, but I think Osmanthus can sometimes play as a little bit with a little bit apricot-y touch and also this leathery suede touch. Very elegant and very feminine. I'm quite happy with the longevity of this fragrance, although this is a cosmetic brand L'Occitane, but this one is actually long lasting on my skin. So I can detect it for many hours and you can detect it around you. So if you prefer apricot-y, fruity, a little bit, not too much, right amount of sweetness and this elegant suede twist. This is a perfect combination of these notes. And I think this is also quite suitable for the summer, this apricot-y, because the apricots are already on the shelves in the supermarket. Apricot-y, fruity, sunny touch. Next fragrance is quite different. I also talked about this one recently. That's Izia by Sysley. That's completely different. This is sour predominant rose, cooling, with with other floral notes. So what is listed here? In the top notes, bergamot, aldehydes and pink pepper. In the middle, rose, floral notes, peony, lily of the valley and jasmine. And in the base, musk, cedar and amber. This is a typical musky scent with predominant rose, sour rose, young rose. For me, this fragrance is like an English lady, blonde with white skin, elegant, young, very young. I wouldn't say girly, it's a very elegant, feminine scent. Young lady with an aristocratic, elegant touch. And also very refreshing and very cooling, perfect for summer days. The longevity is quite nice. And this is the typical musky fragrance. So in the dry down, it can be, especially in the heat, that it gets a little bit soapy, but I quite like it. I don't have any animosity against the dry down and a little bit soapy touch with predominant sour young rose. The next fragrance is quite different. So this one of my favorite brands is Acqua di Parma, and this one is Peonia Nobile, Noble Peony. How I like this one. What are the, that's quite different. It is so opulent. Peony, rose, raspberry, patchouli, geranium, pepper, musk, freesia and amber. And if I do the comparison between Izia and Acqua di Parma Peonia, so Izia is young, blonde, elegant lady, young English lady, whereas this one is dark-skinned, brunette, hot Italian girl with deep décolleté, sensual, sexy. Do you know what I mean? This is so opulent, this is so sexy, this is so sensual. Of course I can detect the peony here, but for me this is not natural peonies, and this is more fantasy of different florals. This is hot, warm Italian summer. It is a quite sweet fragrance, so you have to like sweet fragrances to be able to enjoy this one. I wouldn't say that I have something plastic or nothing like that. It's not natural peony scent, but it's also not chemical, or it's just a perfect. I understand that this is a floral twist with different florals with a predominant peony, but I also understand that this is a fantasy flower, perfumery, peony, floral sweetness. The longevity is amazing. When I spray this on my skin, I can detect this fragrance for the whole day. I think this is also office appropriate day wear fragrance if you don't overspray this. Just one spray is going to be enough. If you do a little bit more, that could be also a very nice evening scent for going out for the hot summer evening. Perfect. Quite different to this one is Cartier La Panthère. I have the version Légère. It was created in 2015. And of course you can detect the DNA of La Panthère, but this one is a little bit, the version Légère is a little bit different. So the notes listed here are quite different to the original La Panthère. So dry fruits, green notes, pear, tangerine, bergamot in the top notes. In the middle, gardenia, tiare, aldehydes, ylang ylang, peach, rose and jasmine, and in the base oak moss, musk, patchouli and orris root. If you want, you can watch a big video about all the flankers, almost all the flankers of La Panthère. I did this video approximately 1 year ago, some months ago. So in that video I tell about the nuances, about the slight differences of the different versions of La Panthère. So this one is the Légère version, which is a little bit like a tone down. It's not so obvious, it's not so straightforward than the original La Panthère version. And because of this slightly exotic twist of tiare and ylang-ylang, this fragrance becomes more creamy, has this creamy touch, exotic touch, and that's why for me associated with summer. Of course, this is the fragrance dedicated to gardenia. Gardenia is the predominant note here. I can also detect patchouli, which is for me office appropriate, and of course oak moss. The longevity is nice. It is a super high quality fragrance. I love all the versions of La Panthère. I think they have everything in them. Elegant, feminine, sophisticated, aristocratic, noble, and also office appropriate. You can wear them during your office hours, during the day, and also in the evening. I love these fragrances. So quite different is the next fragrance by selective line Dolce&Gabbana. This one is Velvet Mimosa Bloom. I must say that the longevity of this one was a disappointment, but the bottle has 150 ml, so you can basically bath in it. For me, this is a very natural fragrance, smell, scent of mimosa and daffodil. So in this fragrance was created in 2015, and the notes listed here are mimosa, daffodil, neroli, violet leaf and mandarin and bergamot. I like wearing this fragrance during the hot days because it is refreshing, it is cooling. You may say, well, mimosa and daffodil don't bloom in the middle of the summer anymore, and you're right, but for me this is a perfect scent, perfect combination for the hot days because of the refreshing feeling, because of the cooling down, because you feel clean and pure after putting on this fragrance. As I said, the longevity is a disappointment and I wouldn't wear it outside. For me, this is more day wear fragrance during my work, during the office hours, where you can always refresh the fragrance and you still feel very fresh and clean and concentrated, and it's not suffocating, not going to suffocate anybody in the office. So very office appropriate fragrance. And the last fragrance that I'm going to talk about is one of my favorite fragrances. It was some years ago, it was my signature scent, that's also Acqua di Parma, the line Blue Mediterraneo, and it's Mirto di Panarea. I had this fragrance for many years, and then probably 2 bottles, and then for some years I didn't have it in my collection, and recently I got the whole set of this fragrance. Who watches my video knows that I prefer combining fragrances with the body lotion, and here is something very special. This is a shower gel, and this is body lotion but in the spray bottle, and this is so convenient to take it with you in your bag when you go outside and you feel, for example, very hot and dry outside. You just can spray it on your skin. You probably don't see, but it's like a creamy texture, and your skin feels already moisturized and creamy. So, and the scent is 100% similar to the fragrance. So, and because of the cream, the fragrance is even more long lasting, although the longevity is amazing here in this one. So what are the notes listed here? So this fragrance was created in 2008 and I got it, I would say, a couple of years later, so I had it quite at the beginning when it was released. And the nose behind this fragrance is François Dimachy, the in-house perfume maker of House of Dior. So one of my favorite noses, and you can feel the touch of Maestro, because this is an absolute, it's high quality fragrance. So what are the notes listed here? The top notes are myrtle, lemon, bergamot and basil. The middle notes are sea notes, jasmine and rose, and the base notes are juniper, cedar, mastic and amber. So I would say this is quite a unisex fragrance, and as you know, lately I prefer very feminine fragrances, but this one is just amazing. Although it is unisex, I love it. I love wearing it basically during the whole year, but now I'm going to wear it in the heat of the summer, because it cools me down. It evokes so many memories from the past, good memories, warm emotions, warm feelings. The feelings and emotions is all the fragrances are about. So, and because of this twist of basil and juniper, and I can detect some citrus notes and lemony and some floral notes, but for me this is just a creation of some fantasy scent. I can't really say that this is a very natural fragrance. Well, this is a fragrant fantasy for me. Longevity is amazing, and I am just in love with this fragrance. It was one of my signature scents. Because I have so many fragrances, I don't have a signature scent anymore really, but maybe at some point I will filter from all the fragrances I have. Maybe through some years I will filter like 10 or 15 perfumes that are really my perfumes, that really suit me absolutely 100% well. So this one is going to be definitely one of them, one of my favorite high quality, long lasting, unisex fragrance with a super interesting twist. So these were the 7 fragrances that I wanted to talk about. My next perfume rotation. I hope you had fun with me. I hope it was interesting for you. Maybe you got some new ideas about your next summer rotation. Please tell me, what fragrances do you prefer wearing in the heat of the summer? What cools you down? What gives you energy? What is the most long-lasting fragrance to wear outside when it's super hot? And so on. Please share with me your thoughts. And thank you very much for your support. Thank you very much for your subscriptions. My channel has got more than 1,000 subscribers. I know this is just nothing for big channels, but for me, I'm super happy about that. And I thank you from all my heart. And I'm going to see you in the next video. Please stay tuned and bye bye.